Van Dyke to Henry, back out to Van Dyke. Van Dyke gives to Taylor. Taylor on the right side, comes back out. Taylor in the paint, stolen. And the player down as Dalton just collapses.
I don't know what happened.
I think his shoulder.
It's his shoulder or something.
Looks like his shoulder was out of joint. That's what it looked like from our vantage point. And Dalton is in serious pain.
Well, they went inside. Taylor drove inside, and you know, he ran into the 3 Sigma Alpha players, and it looked like he just hit him awkwardly.
And this would be a serious blow to the Spartans. And Dalton comes off the court holding that right shoulder, and that does not look good for the Spartans. He sits on the bench and he's holding that shoulder, and he is in pain. Looks like it could have come out of joint or something like that. We didn't quite get a clear look.
Now Andy Van Dyke talking to the official. Basilean took a shot when they blew the whistle. Should they get a new 35-second clock?
Actually a 10-second clock.
Well, 10 seconds, yes, but should they get a new clock? Because what they're saying is they want to have the ball.
And they're discussing it now. There's 4 seconds on the shot clock, so the Basilean Eagles will have to get off a shot pretty fast.
They've got 4 seconds.
10 seconds on the game clock, 4 seconds on the shot clock, and that's the way it'll stay. Henry will inbound. Van Dyke puts a shot up, it goes! Cutter! Fouled, and the basket is good. Cutter is happy about that one. 35-27, the Spartans by 8.
Dumb. That's all that you can say is dumb. Why Taylor did that?
That was a second foul on Taylor. Cutter's shot falls, and that makes it a 9-point game. So that brings the half to a close. Basilean down by 9. The score, Sigma Alpha 36, Basilean 27. John Musser along with John McClellan set for another 20 minutes of basketball. And I'll tell you one thing, John, a shocker here at the U. Everyone predicted, most everyone except, of course, Matt Bachman of the Collegian. I was talking to him earlier, the sports writer for the Collegian, and he picked the Spartans by 4. But Basel, it'll be interesting to see how they come out. Now, one thing that I was thinking about was that Basel's not used to playing zone. And Sigma's dropped back into a 2-3 zone. And that's where the problem is. And we're going to see if Basel will be able to handle the zone here in the second half.
Well, see, the problem is, John, Basel can't play man-to-man against John Lloyd. He's too big. And, you know, you got to go one way or the other. Are you going to go man-to-man and let him beat you? Or are you going to go zone and make the rest of the team beat you? And that's what they're doing right now. But they've got the ball to start the half, so we'll see if they can cut this lead down to 7.
The refs are trying to figure out, should you go by the possession arrow, or should you go by the fact that Basel had the ball to start the first half? Should you give it to Sigma? But I think it goes possession arrow. Basel gets it started with Van Dyke at the top of the key. Henry to Taylor. Taylor back to Van Dyke. Van Dyke fakes a 3. He's going to go baseline. He's going to come back out. In the paint to Erkins, back out to Henry. Henry into Martindale. Martindale baseline, gives it back to Taylor. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Taylor baseline, brings it back out. Henry for 3. It's good! And a foul on Wisnat. Possible 4-point play. What a way to start the second half, John.
A great way to start the second half for Basel. Not the way Sigma Alpha wanted to start the second half. Wisnat with a terrible mental mistake. and it can bring Basel back to within 5, just like that.
And Henry, you know, he's so up and down on his three-point shooting, but that one, there was no question.
No question whatsoever. As soon as it left his hand, I knew it was going in. And there he goes.
His free throw rolls around a little bit, then comes in. Cutter
having trouble. It's 5 seconds.
Calls timeout. Basel with the press, shuts down Cutter outside, and now the momentum is in a transition. John, I said to you earlier, a good three-pointer like that can change momentum, and it has. Cutter forced to take a timeout. Spartans waste their timeouts. They couldn't need them.
This is definitely not the way Sigma Alpha wanted to start this half. Poor defense, and then a poor inbounds play. Now Basilean's got momentum.
So we're just underway in the second half, and Spartans forced to call a timeout. They'll have to use it now.
We're going to go real quickly to Emily Hart, our sideline reporter.
Kevin Plew told the Basel to keep it in low and look low, and once the Spartans go in low, get the ball back out, shoot from the outside, and get it in for the point.
Thank you very much, Em.
Spartan ball outside. Cutter into Ray. Stolen by Henry. And they're going to say he stepped out of bounds when he touched the ball, but still good pressure by Henry.
Good pressure. And like I told you, Musser, Henry gives 100% every time. Look at him, even there in the inbounds play. 100%.
I don't know about that call either.
No, not really a good one.
Wisnant gets it across to Cutter, and the Spartans will set it up. Ray in the front court. Goes to Cutter. Cutter on the right side, comes back out to Ray. Basel now dropping back in the zone. Lloyd in the paint, lays it up and in.
He's just too big, Musser.
Basel's got to find a way to stop him.
He's cutting between the two guys like they're not even there.
Van Dyke and Taylor. Erkins. Van Dyke on the corner, back out to Taylor. Taylor at the top of the key. And he charged. Or no, he traveled. They'll call traveling, and Taylor's not too happy with that call. I don't think Taylor knew that Cutter was behind him.
No.
7-point Spartan lead, and they have the ball. Cutter. Guarded by Van Dyke. Van Dyke with the steal. Gives to Martindale. Martindale to Taylor. Now Ken Martindale on the bench. His brother subbing for him. Henry on the right side. Goes back out to Taylor. They need to capitalize on this one to try and stay in the game. Van Dyke to Taylor. Good defense by Ray. Henry at the top of the key. Gives to Van Dyke. Van Dyke fakes a three. Inside for Martindale, and he loses it.
Nice look inside by Van Dyke. Martindale just wasn't ready for it.
Cutter gives to Wisnant. They're pressing. Lloyd to Ray. Ray's going to pull it out and set it up. He gives to Cutter. Cutter back out to Ray. Ray to Wisnant. Wisnant tipped away, and it's Basel ball.
Sigma Alpha looks so out of sync right now. They look like they don't know what they're doing.
But Basel's isn't capitalizing on it either. Henry on the right side. Gives to Taylor at the top of the key. Taylor to Van Dyke on the corner. And I'll tell you one thing, both teams playing sloppy right now. Their heads aren't in the game. 38-31, Sigma Alpha by 7.
Basilean cannot afford to cross-court pass. Sigma Alpha is too big to do that.
Lloyd turns it away. Henry in the lane, and he loses it out of bounds. And Henry was looking for a foul. No call.
Henry better watch it. He can't afford to get a technical.
Stolen by Van Dyke. Van Dyke gonna try and settle it down. Van Dyke for three. It's good!
There you go. I was just getting ready to say, Musser, that Andy Van Dyke is the senior. He's the one that's got to step it up and take control of this game. Right there, he just did it.